things. First of all, I just want to show you a couple of other things that I did. You know how I sent, and I did it through using Canva and something else, and I think it gives you an idea. So you know how I sent out this thing?
Are you sharing something?
Oh, sorry, I gotta share this. I sent out, you know how I sent out this thing?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you look, what I did was I actually found his picture right on the web. Oh, sorry, it's because, and I stripped out his background. And the cool thing is, you know, I used to have to do something like this on Photoshop.
Yeah.
But now you can go to, say, for example, I think I Googled, or now I'm using Bing, but I did, what did I do? Oh, yeah. Remove background. And I found, oh, you got to do it free. So you have to
Yeah.
do it free. So you free, right? Where is it? Okay, I did this one, I think. And what you do is you upload an image, and let's just see if this works, okay?
His shoulder is missing.
Shoulder, see how her head is too close to the color of
yeah.
shoulder. So you can fix that, but that's actually pretty good.
It is.
That is.
You download it, and then you can basically
Stick it on any background.
Yeah, you could stick it on any background. So let's say
That is so great. Or if you have a photo bomber, an unwelcome photo bomber, can you
yes,
get them out? Yeah. Wow.
and you can take a template. Let's say, I don't know. Let's do an Instagram post. We'll do a blank, and we'll take an. Actually, I think I could do it. I think I can do it just with the color. Oh yeah, you could take that, put a color, and then upload the picture. Sorry, let's take my.
Is this a paid version or a non-paid version?
It's totally non-paid.
Oh, because I have the paid version.
Oh, you should be able to do even more.
Yeah, you could do. I have I could show you my screen, but you could do a whole brand kit. So like Wellspring logo, you could save it. You can use, and then you could customize your colors. So you're always using your colors, your logo, your font, your everything.
Yeah, that might be worthwhile in the end. So,
wow.
But I think actually with the paid version, you can actually do the background cutting on there.
Oh, really? You know what? I don't use it. Like our designers use it, not me, but
Yeah.
I'm sure you could do a lot. I don't even really use it much.
Yeah.
Grace, you look so young in this picture.
This is when we were in London.
2017.
Wow.
So here's what I would say is that generally one of the best ways to think about finding a design that you like is you really just go through all the different, like what I do, if let's say I said, oh, okay, I'm going to do it on, I need to find something on, I don't know, on the tip, like the fact that there is this, so I'm constructing this for tomorrow, right? And I thought, like, Linda sent me this thing, the Gospel Training Giving Jar, wanted to give an update as how much they raised. They raised $4,000, right? That's amazing. Out of just coins.
Awesome.
Yeah, but with the kids just did that. $4,000. That's a lot, right?
That's so awesome.
Yeah. So to me, you just go online, look for that, and then I just start going through. I just start going through all of the different templates and then I just start looking and seeing what do I like in terms of font, or just to get an inspiration. It's not. I rarely take their actual
templates.
Yeah, I don't take their template and just plop whatever I like. I wouldn't go there and just utilize it. That's me. The more I just look at it and it just gives me a thought of, oh, I like this font, right? Let's say, and I like these trees, so maybe I'll do something with that. Or, oh, so rather than always thinking you're just changing this and making it exactly the way that it is, sometimes you just get inspiration and you just recreate it the way you want it to be. So again, Canva is incredibly helpful. I think you'll find it to be useful. It's probably something you can use almost all the time. Now, for those of you who are illustrators, I'm going to turn it over to Carissa, and she's going to talk a little bit about some of the things. And then afterwards, we'll go over some of the Adobe products. But she's going to go over something called Procreate.
Oh yeah, I want to learn.
Oh,
So
don't put it there.
we tried connecting the iPad to the computer, but we were not successful. So I'm probably just gonna hold it up to the camera. So it might be a little bit. Just let me know if it's hard to see. But Procreate is a pay. You do have to pay for it. I think it's like $10. It's on the App Store. But it's probably, I think it's the best like drawing software out there in terms of like digital drawing or painting. So if any of you are interested in like either doing like calligraphy on like digitally or drawing or painting, you can also do, I think you can do like vector graphics on there too. So
But what's the difference between Procreate and Procreate 2, or is it the same?
I think Procreate 2 might have like a few other features, but I think unless you're like actually a professional like painter or something, I don't think you need like that advanced of a software. So I think the original Procreate's fine. Yeah, but so I think so this is something I did like a month ago. This, I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, I love that, Carissa.
So this
I know. Where is that, Carissa?
this is Laguna Beach, California.
Yes, that's my favorite.
Yeah, so I used this from, I think I used a photograph, but this is like done in a few different brushes. It's kind of hard to see. So I use different brushes,
I'll hold it and
and
look up.
and I'll go through like each part of the app, so if you do purchase it or if you do have it on hand already, you can know like how to use each feature.
And do you need the pencil? to
You do
do
need
it?
the pencil.
Here,
So
I'll get it.
so
Get
what?
yours.
Oh, no, it's
That's
right here.
mine.
Oh, I can just
Here.
show it. So like the
Let me
pencil
get
looks
your
like this,
pen,
right?
Phil.
And
I'll
then
get your pen.
oh, okay, it just
I was
connects.
just charging it.
But I can show you. So the different features are like, you can see it on the top, right? There's like the brush, and then like a smudge tool, an eraser, a layers tool, and then the color, I guess the color wheel. Oh shoot. So for example, if you look at the brush feature, there's a library, and this is also the same on Photoshop. So I used to paint on Photoshop with like a tablet, but then I switched over to an iPad because it's a lot less clunky. But this is basically like a collection.
Which the one thing is showing the mirror image.
Oh, actually no, I think it's straight. It's just mirrored for us.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. But there's different like kinds of brushes depending on what you want to do. I think for this one, I did these. I think I used drawing brushes for this one, even though it looks like kind of like a painting. But they have like sketching brushes for inking, drawing, painting, calligraphy, airbrushing. So like if you wanted to use it for more conceptual art, you would use like you would use like texture packs, you would use drawing, and then if you're doing like calligraphy, you might use the calligraphy brushes or the inking. So they just have like a very large collection of different kinds of brushes, and each of them looks really different when you play around with it. And then on the side,
Do these save as AI files and like AI files?
yeah, so if you go to the left side, there's like a little tool button, and so I think you can export it as a PSD, a PDF, a JPEG, PNG, a TIFF, or as individual layers. So I don't think
It's called Procreate, Gloria.
Yeah, this is called Procreate. You can find it on the Apple App Store.
I don't see that. Anyway, it's okay. It's okay.
We'll send it to you again later. So if you like drawing, or if, especially if you want to sketch things out, right?
Mhm.
Or it could be
I use it.
illustrations, right?
Yeah, it can be for Illustrator. I think it's a lot of like, I guess this is more a little bit hobbyist. So if you really enjoy like painting or drawing, very easy to use.
Hey, Carissa.
Mhm.
I just joined kind of late, but did you draw this on your tablet?
I did, yes.
Oh my gosh, this is so good. I thought you were showing me like painting of your painting on this tablet. I didn't know you actually drew this on the
Technology is
iPad.
just amazing.
Oh my gosh.
But you
Yeah.
could do
How
it
long-
too, Susie.
Yeah,
All
How
of you
long did
could.
it take you?
I think it took me like 2 or 3 hours.
Wow.
Maybe we
But-
should do a paint along or sketch
You know,
along.
That's the other. That's the next one. How to draw.
You know, I have Adobe Draw and now I'm just using this right now. It is so good. I like Procreate so much better.
yeah, Procreate
It's
is a lot
abstract.
more.
I mean, the brushes are so much better too.
So I see Procreate Pocket. Is that the same thing?
I don't think so. There should be
It
just
looks like
Procreate by itself.
this. Is that not it?
Well, I think that's because it's on the iPhone. You might have to do it on the iPad.
Here it is.
Oh,
If
I
you
see.
probably
Oh.
with the iPhone, it's a Pocket because it's a miniaturized
Yeah, it's
version.
probably.
Oh, I see.
Probably
I
can,
see.
like, draw with a
Okay,
finger or something maybe.
Yeah, you could do it.
Okay.
It's like a sketch pad almost. Think
Got
of the,
it.
your different, right? Because you would say like there are different sizes of sketch pads, digital.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So the bigger
That's
the-
so good.
But another thing I wanted to show is so there's like a concept of layers, right?
Mhm.
And
It's a
so
huge thing for every single
yeah, so
design
like even
software.
if you use like Adobe software like Photoshop or Illustrator, there's these thing called layers. And so basically this makes it like really different from like traditional drawing because you can manipulate each layer independently of each other or together if you wanted. So like for example, like if I only showed you one layer, like you can see here, you can see here that the sky, and that shouldn't be there, but the sky is like its own layer. So like if I wanted to delete the sky, I could just delete the sky, and then I can like slowly add other things. So each of these layers is like, so if you wanted to move something around, but you didn't, like let's say you wanted to move one of these trees around, but not move the other parts around, then I would make the tree a separate layer. And so like using that layer alone, I can like manipulate it without touching anything else. So that's a pretty important part of like digital drawing, just because it's like something you can definitely take advantage of that you can't use in traditional drawing.
I have another question. Where do you import like pictures?
That's a good idea. That's a good question. I think actually I haven't done that yet. I mostly just use this for just like straight drawing, but I'm pretty sure if you go to the little
wrench.
If you go to the wrench,
it says add on the top.
Do you know how to use this page? Do you do it too? You do. Have you been doing some drawings?
not a lot lately, but Joseph has.
Oh,
Show us, Paige. Show your work.
show us. Show us.
Yeah.
And,
Paige and Joseph are very good artists.
oh yes. And Elise and
Mhm.
Ellen, I mean, with the amount of calligraphy that you do, I'm sure you can utilize. I don't know if you do utilize digital calligraphy rather than just.
Elise
Think,
uses it a lot
painting.
for her calligraphy, but she's not here right now because she's writing a time essay.
Oh, I
Here's
see.
what's nice.
Oh,
Ooh.
nice. Look at
Ellie
that.
did that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and there's also like basically Procreate is kind of like a miniature Photoshop too, because you can, if you click on the the cursor tool, you can flip like your drawing and manipulate it that way. And then if you click on like the S looking one, you can kind of copy and paste. So like, I could like draw a square around like the tree, for example, and then like cut it out and then like move it somewhere else. So like there's a lot of different like manipulative tools in this, so you can basically like draw something and then like move it around depending on how you want it to look like.
Mm.
So there's like a lot of, it's like drawing but like cheating at the same time.
There's one more piece.
Wait, so I have a question, Carissa.
Mhm.
Would you consider this to be like a software like professionals would use,
Oh, these are default ones.
like for commercial purposes too?
Mhm.
Yeah, sure. Here's a very different one.
This was an icon that I actually made for one of my friends for Instagram, but this is like a very different style, obviously. And I used like instead of like more illustrated brushes, this one's like more of a painting a little bit, or it's like a really quick sketch. So like for example, I used like for this one I used like inking brushes, which makes it have like a little bit more of a, I guess like a marker, like it looks like it's drawn in marker a little bit. And yeah, I think that's pretty much.
Grace, sorry, what was your question?
Oh, like, would you consider this app to be something that kind of takes over, like, almost the Wacom, and like, and you would use it for like professional and commercial? Like, do people use this like very seriously, like designers?
Yeah, so I think from most of the painters, like digital painters that I know, I think the vast majority use Procreate now. Like it used to be that you had to buy like a separate tablet and hook it up to your desktop. But it's hard because it's different from like drawing on a flat surface, right, and looking directly at it versus drawing on a tablet and having it translate to your computer.
Yeah.
So there's like, this gets rid of that like middleman of having the desktop. I mean, of having the tablet.
Yeah.
So instead now you draw directly on a platform.
Yeah, no, I like that. And do typically people just use the iPad?
Yeah, most people use iPad. I mean, if you really wanted to go like super professional, I think some people have like professional drawing software, but that can be like $4,000. So I think the iPad is like a really good alternative to something like that.
That's great. That's awesome.
Just to give it a different feel.
Like this one.
Yeah.
Here's just a fun one.
Very different.
I drew this for someone, and they're like with their dog, but it's in like the style of Calvin and Hobbes.
Oh, that's cute.
Well,
yeah, but that's pretty much it. I would really recommend. I think it's like $10, but honestly, for $10, I think it's like a very good deal.
you could definitely spend $10 a lot worse.
Yeah. And it's like very, very forgiving. It's not hard to use at all.
Yeah, I think I am not artistically gifted in any way, especially when it comes to drawing. But for those, I know some of you really are. You should definitely consider that. If you have an iPad, the pen is probably, if you already have an iPad, the pen, I think it's about, actually it's cheaper now. I think it used to be $100. It might be a little cheaper. And then,
You can also buy it like secondhand.
yeah. So
Is it an Apple product pen or any?
Apple Pencil.
Oh, okay.
Just
Nice.
looks like that.
Yeah.
Wait, so I put this image. Sorry, I put this image, right? I want to draw her, and then like, how do I make this transparent? Like, or like, like lighten the background so that I can draw her on another layer.
What do you mean?
Don't do it, Grace.
I mean, you want to cut her out?
No. So I have her
Aw.
on this, and I want to draw this picture, and then so I'm gonna add a layer, and then I want to fade this out so I could draw her on the second layer. How do I fade this image out? Do you know what I mean?
So I'm not sure if this will work, but like, so on the side, do you see? Actually, I didn't show that, but like do you see the side of this? Like, there's two little
Yes, I see that.
sliders, right? So the top one is the brush size, and then the second one, the bottom one, is the brush opacity. So
Yeah, but I need the actual picture to fade so that I could draw on the second layer, and I see like a picture of, Mochi, and then I could draw her.
Yeah, so maybe like a
Change the
possibility.
opacity.
No,
would be-
Yeah, how do you
I know
change
how.
the opacity?
You go to the layers. You go to the layers and click the N. There's an N
Go to
On
the
the layer.
layers, okay, and then click the N, okay.
Oh yeah, and there's like a opacity.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Joseph.
Thank you, Mr. Pack.
So
I got it.
I don't want to assume that everybody understands some of those terms. One is opacity, and or opacity. Another word is transparency, but it's the idea of the image slowly losing its resolution, so that you could actually. It's almost like you could see through the person, and that is important. Oh, there you go. Yeah, you change the opacity.
Now I'm
So-
gonna draw her.
Yes. So that's that really is helpful. You know, honestly, a lot of what's happening on the iPad almost renders things like Photoshop. Not that it renders it useless, but it definitely is taking away from some of the value of things like Photoshop, because Photoshop can do all those things, but it has a lot more steps and a lot more complexity. So definitely, the more you are going deeper into design, you still want to use Photoshop, because there are certain things that Photoshop can do that others can't. So, I'm going to just give you a brief section on Photoshop. More than anything else, it gives you an idea of what it takes to actually get all the different parts together. And hopefully through that, you'll get a sense of it. But here's the thing is that, as always, I'm going to give a couple of disclaimers. First of all, let me just quit some of these things. My first disclaimer is that I am not a Photoshop master. I'm more of a wannabe.
No, you're good, Sam.
No, I take
No,
too
you're
many.
good.
I take too many sort of pseudo shortcuts that people who actually are good at Photoshop would laugh at me. So just to let you know, it's like being an amateur in something, and you just do your best, and that's okay. But I think a lot of it depends on what you're planning on doing. So if you actually utilize Photoshop, it has its place. So let me first get there. Okay. I want to find something that. Sorry, let me just open up something. Check. Okay.
Can you crop someone's head out?
I want to see if I could find something that I've already done. Certainly. Hang tight for 1 second. Do I have any PSD files?
No, they're JPEGs.
Oh no. Okay. Well, I'm just gonna try to do it anyway. We'll go with the flow and see how it goes. All right, here we go. Okay. So when I first, I'm trying to think. When I first did this, something like this first section right here basically was I got it from Canva. And so these days, what I've been using Photoshop more for is not to create from scratch, but more to, hold on, sorry. More to fix things. So for example, if I go to, let's say, I feel like all these things I've done through. And a lot of these things I've now gone and done through Canva. I'm telling you, Canva almost has made Photoshop obsolete for me. Like I actually don't use it as much.
Wait, but how can that be? Because Photoshop is like the photo editing, and Canva is not photo editing. It's more like, you're trying to get a quick. It's like a quick image that I mean like a graphic thing.
Yeah, but Photoshop, to me, okay, I use Photoshop very much like not just for photo editing, but for graphics as well.
Oh, okay.
Hold on. I'm gonna just try to find one thing, one file that I could work on just very quickly and show you just a sample of what I'm talking about. I just had to open up my hard drive. Let's see if I can find some random picture. Okay. Okay, no, that's not a good picture. That's not a good picture either.
What are you trying to show us, Sam?
Okay, I'll just gonna work on something randomly, okay? It actually, all right. So let's say I were to work on this picture. I just found this randomly, okay?
It's just
Um,
a bad photo.
So this picture, it's actually, you know, I know it's not the best picture of some, but it actually though isn't bad because it's pretty sharp. And there are certain things that you could do that almost these days so much filtering software does so that you almost don't have to worry about it. But let's say I said, okay, I want it to be a little sharper. So I'm just gonna sharpen it a little bit more. But there's something in Photoshop here that I'll show you that you cannot do with other software. See, the challenge with this is if you look at it, what would be really great is if this right here was not like this, right? Where it was all brick wall. That would be the ultimate, don't you think?
Yes. Then you could cut him out easily with the little like magic wand or whatever.
Yes. But sometimes you can't because, so here's the thing. Remember what I told you about the background removal?
Mm-hmm.
Where you're trying to get rid of the background? That you can do in other things, but maybe you say, oh, okay. But the challenge is that the sensitivity, there's so many, the way background removal works, and this is really the key, is the picture that I showed you of Ravi Zacharias before, he was already on a contrasting background, meaning that the foreground or the subject is a certain color, and then the background is a certain color. But if the two colors, the background color and the subject is close to each other, the computer actually the program has a hard time of distinguishing what is the background, what is the foreground.
Mm-hmm.
And just, if you don't know what I mean by foreground, is whatever is in the front versus whatever's in the back. And so the challenge in this picture is that there are too many random colors that are in existence. Like the only area where it actually does show much more of a sense of who he is this area where the skin is white and everything else is darker color, and maybe here too. But it's a challenge. So one thing you might want to do, and there's a number of ways you could do it. One is to actually start removing this. I might be able to select this directly, and I'm just gonna, what is that?
I don't know what is that.
What is that?
Oh, this is shoulder, I think.
No.
No, it's this. See? It says right here.
Oh,
Whoops.
whoops. Wait, what? Oh, whoops. Okay, sorry. This is a new thing with Photoshop. Oh, I see. It went to content aware. So another thing about Photoshop these days is that this is actually a new program because it actually, because it's now a subscription, it updates automatically. So I haven't used Photoshop in a while. Oh man, what happened? Why am I not even able to quit out?
Is it frozen?
Did I freeze? Sorry, everyone. Let me go back.
Pastor
Here we-
Sam, I think when you're
Here we go.
oh, there you go. When
Here
you're
we go.
sharing your screen, like it like maximizes, and I think you can't somehow
I see.
work on it, right?
Yes, that might be it. But no, I think something else
Oh.
happened. I actually, I should have been able to delete this. Oh, I see. Okay. no, not content aware. So what I'm going to do is I'll keep it white. So what I'm going to try to do is to totally remove it. And what these functions are is this is called a magic wand, what Grace said. And it basically selects those things that are close to whatever color that surrounding area. It selects it, and then you can do whatever you want with it. You can move it. You can delete it, or just basically you can change its opacity. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to give you like a whole Photoshop tool thing, but here's the point of it is, one, whenever people talk about Photoshop, it really is going to be understanding what you want. Because if the case is, I want, and most people, they just want, say, a background removed. They want, you know, words added, but a lot of that now you can do through Canva and through different tools. And so if you ever think, oh, why do I want to use Photoshop? Generally now it's mostly for, as Grace said, for photo editing. But rather than going to Photoshop, which if I had more time, I would basically, you know, try to do this. And one of the things that Carissa said is she talked about layers. So you can add on new layers here. And through that, let's just imagine what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this. This is going to be a really bad job, but I don't care. I'm just doing it because, whoops. Okay, and then I'm going to drag it over here, right? Obviously not what I want. I'm going to turn this into its own layer. Layer for the background. Okay, we're shaking this thing and getting an earthquake here. Okay, and then what I might do is take this. Okay, this is, like I said, a bad job. Just ignore my, all right, but.
Oh, okay. You cloned it.
I didn't clone it. What I did was
You're erasing it off.
I basically turned it into, I took a little section from over here.
Yes.
And then I, and then I grabbed it and
Is it gonna look seamless? That's my question.
if I worked on it long enough, it would look seamless.
Basically, there's like a layer underneath the
Yes.
first layer, and so what he's doing is erasing part of the layer that's on top of it to show the layer underneath.
Yes.
This is not for the birds. This is really,
Not for the birds? What does that mean?
this is not for people like us, like normal people. It's like, this is for like people who really want to get into this. This is tedious.
Well, so here's the thing is, if you're creating, let's say, like Amy just did a video for the mentors, right? And let's say she said, I really want a cover page for this, and I want it to look so awesome. And you might be like, well, okay, I'm going to just do it to the best of my ability. And yeah, I know. But I'm there anyway. Okay, this is not good. It's not seamless because you could see the line there. But there's ways to make that line go away. And basically, my point of it is just trying to, I just did a really quick and dirty thing where you just get a sense of what's going on, right?
Can you cut, there, so the right side of it before you did the magic wand, that section is dark?
Yes.
Like it's almost like purple black. Can you move that to the right corner and then have everything else sort of look like the left side?
Yes, I could totally. So if I have time,
okay.
I'm trying to do it really fast so that you could at least get a sense of what it takes. But you're right, concept. Susie.
Yeah.
So you want to think that way. You want to think like, okay, how can I make this easiest? And And so a lot of it is just recognizing. The key is right here, layers, as Carissa was talking about. That's a huge part of design is layers. Because the more you can just, like think of it as the way it used to be actually in graphic design, when before computers, they would actually have physical layers, you know, like they'd do one part, and they do another, put on a piece of paper, a tree on another part, and then they stack it up on top of each other, and then glue it together, and then get like its own one thing. Obviously, it'd be pretty messy. And then through that, they'd be like, oh, okay, this looks good. Now what they do is they just do it through the computer, but almost every single design software uses layers. So the more you understand the concept of layers, and we didn't even go into layer masks and stuff like that. That's a whole nother thing. But the more you do that, the more you'll be able to really grasp that. So this is obviously a very different picture than what we saw before, right? And even though it's not very different, but it's even better. Even with that line, it's better than the curtain and the messiness over on the corner.
You didn't clone it. How did you do that thing again?
I basically, what I did was when the picture was there, right? Let's say it's here. I took my selection, my marquee. This is
marquee tool.
Yeah, and it's like turns it into a box, and you can make it different shapes.
Okay.
And then I basically took it like this, right? Made it into a column, but basically, Susie's right. I could have made it really big like this, right? Let's say really wide, and then I Command C. I copied it. Command C, and then I created a new layer, and then I pasted it onto the new layer right here. Do you see that? I created it, and then what I did was I took it and I pulled it all the way to the other side. Right?
Now, couldn't you just put that layer? Can't you just take that layer and put it behind Sung and put him on the other layer? So his layer is above that, and then you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you see, it's hidden now from the front layer, so I actually have to go and erase the layers that's on top. So I'm actually going to see now, Susie. I'm doing more because I made that thing bigger. Whoops, too big.
Yeah, why does it do that sometimes?
It's because like so the layer that he put, it like only covers part of the screen. It doesn't go like all the way across. So like if you get to the edge of it, then you can see the edge.
Yeah. See, I didn't. It's still not big enough. In order
what do you mean it's not big enough?
The cutout that he did.
Cutout mark. Oh.
Yeah.
Yes. So.
And also we could actually also move Sung too, right? Can I cut out of Sung and then move it to the left?
Yes, you can move Sung.
So you know what?
If he only knew he's being used like this.
It's being manhandled.
I take a picture. Hey, so Sam,
yes.
I don't like using, a lot of times when I have to cut out like a subject matter, and in this case it's Sung, and then in the background there was the background that looks very similar to the foreground, and then you try to use that little, magic wand, right?
Yes.
But you know what I do is I usually use that little lasso, because it's just, even though it's a little more tedious, I feel like you get a cleaner effect, and I just trace with the lasso tool.
So you can use a lasso tool. So basically, Grace is talking about this. This is the lasso tool. And what she is doing is literally like taking it and tracing it along. Now, what's going to happen with this is that the challenge is once you get to the hair, because hair has a lot of, little pieces. And so once you get to the hair, and once you start tracing the lasso, like for example, if I went like this, went all the way around, right? All right, I'm going again.
But I like zoom in and I get.
I know, I'm going rough. I'm just doing it rough here. Hold on.
Yeah, this is like a paper doll cut.
So then, but then if I'm doing that, whenever you're adding somebody, put them on a new you put him on
Layer.
a new one, and then I'd name him Sung, you know, let's say. And that way, I really can manhandle him, you know, as much as I want. Hi. Hello. So, but the one thing is, if you zoom in, right, you can see that one of the things you're going to, if you can try it, and it'll be super tedious, but you're going to lose all these. Now, there's ways to actually not do it like this, to actually get the hair and do it a lot faster than using the lasso. Lasso is, it's, if you're willing to go very slowly, zoom in, super big, and whoops. You know, if you're willing to go this deep down to the core,
Well, I don't go like that deep. I mean,
you know, and then, and if I'm actually willing to, like, say, start, you know, going to this point and be like, okay, I'm going to get this hair right here, and I'm going to go like that.
that's why I don't like Photoshop. It's so tedious to me.
Yeah, but there are quicker ways to do that. And if you go onto YouTube, there's a ton. I mean, if some of you, I mean, especially for those of you who are younger, not that the older people can't learn. And like, knowing Kevin, if he did this, he would just become master. Because he always goes and like masters everything. He doesn't just learn it, he masters it. But
Well, he's a computer programmer.
it's not, it's more about just willingness
Actually,
to go.
I don't program. That's the misnomer.
No,
You
he's
took
not.
all
But
those robotics class.
Kevin, whatever he does,
Yeah,
he goes all
but I don't code for a living.
yes. No, whatever Kevin you do, you go all in. So that's why I'm saying what you can do is there are YouTube videos of how to, you know, remove the background and keep every hair without spending a gazillion amount of time. Now,
Really?
yeah. So if
I
you're willing,
think that for us, this is fine. I mean, we're not trying to retouch Vogue, you know, like cover
Yes, yeah.
magazine.
Yeah.
Because earlier I couldn't even tell
Uh-huh.
the Sung's hair was like that already. Maybe because I have very bad eyesight, but I couldn't tell until you zoomed it in. So I'm like, oh, I see it. But
well, you know
I
what,
think
Susie?
for
It is
me,
because you have bad eyesight.
I do. I couldn't tell.
The funny
And
thing is, Susie, you can always tell when a background's been removed and something has been photoshopped, because the edges are so hard like this. And so everyone will
Right.
be like, once you know now that you know, take a
Yeah.
look and you can
Yeah.
see. But some
Yeah,
people are
obviously.
awesome.
Yeah.
They are so good you can't tell actually.
Yeah.
But someone who's a bad Photoshopper, you can tell, oh, that's been Photoshopped. Like, you know immediately. And well, anyway, that's Photoshop. There's so much you could do. I'm just giving you, you know, like I mean, you can basically create everything in here to be able to, you know, do all sorts of things. You can put in words. That's why I use this. Like, I stink at Illustrator. Actually, I'm sure Grace could do a workshop on Illustrator, but you know, I tend to use Photoshop a lot more than Illustrator.
But I hear that, you know, I hear that people, a lot of serious vector illustrators use Photoshop over Illustrator. I don't know
Really?
why. Yeah. Because oh, you know why? It's because Photoshop for some reason has better brushes.
Oh yeah, they probably do.
I don't know why.
Remember opacity? So you can change the opacity. Whoops, that's on the layer. Whoops, cancel. You can change the opacity. One cool thing about opacity, and I would always remember, changing opacity is pretty cool because it just gives it that feel of, you know, almost like you can contour it, or I mean, you can bevel it, put texture. So there are different ways that you can make this work. Anyway. All right, so that's Photoshop. I really wanted to show you something else because it's pretty important. I mean, something that I use a lot more, and I'm sure Kevin, you use a lot more of this, is some Lightroom. To me, Lightroom is a lot more useful than Photoshop when it comes to photos. Kevin, do you use Lightroom?
I was.
So you can, I mean, you know this better than I do.
Yeah. Basically, so basically, you know, you and I use it because it has that workflow built in, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I
yes.
like Lightroom after you showed me, Sam.
Yeah. Lightroom. Now, Lightroom is something that, for example, okay, I went to, all right, I'm going to show you some things. I went to, so it was Elizabeth's team for rowing. She had a, this is, funny thing is, these are all photographers. We were all the photographers on a boat, and we were taking pictures on this water. And basically, the way that I shoot is, and Kevin is probably similar, is I will shoot, do you see where it says ARW, .ARW? That is Sony's version of RAW. So because I have a Sony DSLR, it shoots RAW. Canon uses CRW. Nikon uses, I forgot what Nikon's is. What is Nikon's?
Nikon uses,
It's a three extension. What's their?
I think it's RAW. It's RAW.
Do you know what the? I don't know what the extension is. Well, anyway, Sony's is ARW, and the reason RAW is whenever you have a camera. Kevin, do you mind explaining RAW? I think you'll be able to explain it better than me.
I mean, basically the RAW is uncompressed version of the image where if you were to take a photo and store in other format, then the data gets compressed. So, so basically, the images are stored in binaries, right? 1 and 0s, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in the JPEG version, if it sees the patterns of 0s and 1s, it tries to compress them so that you actually have a smaller version of file. Whereas in RAW version, it doesn't matter what photo you take, right? You could take complete black picture or you could take complete white picture and their image will be same size because it doesn't compress anything. So what they call it lossless, there's no loss in RAW. So basically you get what you took when you take it in RAW format.
Yes. So one of the advantages of having a DSLR is that you actually can shoot RAW. And so whenever you see, for example, a camera that shoots, say, for example, they'll say, oh, 36 megapixels, right? Well, when you shoot RAW, you get the full amount of information, megapixels. So it'll be 30, that each picture will be 36 megs. And it'll have all the detail of what that shot is going to be. So I'll give you an example. And so when I tend to do this, I don't really have to do this, but I've been doing it. Jason Kim, he does it. So he basically takes a JPEG and a RAW picture together. Do you do that, Kevin? Or do you only take RAW?
I only take RAW.
Okay. Yeah. Jason always takes. I know. I shouldn't do this. It's a waste of space, actually. But basically, DSLRs, you can get an option of actually having both the RAW and the JPEG. So one advantage of RAW is that you actually can edit it in a way in which, so I was trying to take a picture of this bird at the beach. And, but if you look, I took many pictures because I was really trying to get that one picture. When I first started taking pictures of Kevin, I would take 1,000 pictures on a trip. Now I'll take maybe a couple of, maybe max like 100, 150, because I'm a lot more selective. I think back then you just go and you shoot and hope that one is good. But hopefully as you get more experience, you realize you don't really have to do that. You can actually just figure it out. But I want to try to find one really good RAW picture to process here.
So Pastor Sam.
Yes.
So you're saying that if you don't have that DSLR camera, then it doesn't take RAW picture?
I don't believe it does, right, Kevin? It does. Like your phone does not take a RAW picture, right?
I thought iPhone had RAW for RAW function.
No, it doesn't take RAW pictures.
Okay.
So RAW, like you know when raw really comes into play is when you're trying to get a picture
Mhm.
that you want to put on your wall. You know, that you're thinking, I'm going to work on this picture and I want it to be as big of resolution as possible so that when I blow it up to say 20 by 30, when you look close, you're still seeing sharpness. So, and then also you have all the color information that's there. So, and exposure information, you can actually manipulate the exposure so that if it's a little bit overexposed, you can underexpose it and vice versa. All right, I'm going to find one picture. I'm trying to still find that one.
So you know those big like poster boards that you see that's out in the highway, it says shot by iPhone?
Yes.
Those are not, that has to be, I guess it does do raw then.
Those are shot by DSLRs. Those
No, it
big,
says iPhone 11 or iPhone 10. That's what it says.
oh, I mean, it's possible. That doesn't require that much.
No, but you know those huge billboard signs
Yes.
that says shot by iPhone? Are those considered raw?
Kevin, they're probably not raw, right? They're just taking the JPEG, but
Yeah, they're JPEG. Okay, so I got it wrong. Samsung has a raw function. You just have to enable it. But I don't know how good that is though. But you know,
Yeah.
iPhone does pretty good job taking photos nowadays.
yeah, it does.
You know, ask Jason Kim. He doesn't take DSLR anymore. He just takes iPhone.
Hmm.
No, iPhone does take a good job, does do a good job. Okay, I think I found one that I'm gonna do. All right, here. This one, I like this picture. All right. So, whoops. Come on. Sorry.
They can't see.
Just pretty easy at it.
I know.
Do you have a library?
Yeah.
What's the photo?
Do you see it?
The
Oh,
photo?
that's great. Sorry, hang tight, everybody. This will take a little bit. I don't know. Oh, okay. Let me just rename this. Hold on. Or duplicate. Okay. All right. One more time. All right, here we go. All right. Come on. Okay. All right. I think it's here.
I don't see it.
Ah. It's because for some reason it's because the program is finding that I've actually done this photo, and I have.
Can you go home? It's like for your library. Or something.
Yeah.
What are you trying to do?
I'm just trying to find this.
In the meantime, I'll show you guys my picture of
Imports.
Where?
Go home.
Show them the picture.
it's really bad. I can't draw.
That's not bad.
That's really good. Wait, keep it up there, Grace.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop share so you could do that.
So did you basically trace it? How did you do that?
It's so bad. No, but if I take the photo away from the bottom, look how it looks so far.
It's nice. It's good.
Grace,
so
but
cute.
Grace work.
every single artwork, always in the while you're working on it, never looks that great, and then you get it better, right?
I don't know. I've never, the thing is, Carissa is, she makes it sound like Procreate's so easy, but it's so hard. Like, you got to actually know how to draw.
Really?
No.
Well, I guess, yeah.
Send it to Paige. She'll spruce it up for you.
Okay, Paige. Look at this. I can't draw Mochi.
Aww.
Oh,
Looks
So
good.
cute.
Thank you.
I agree. It looks great, Grace. Keep at it. Show us your finished product
Okay.
later.
okay. You know what? I'm just gonna share this, and then tell me what you think. Okay, so these are not what I was planning on, but oh well. So Adobe Lightroom is basically, it's like it's basically a photo processing software, and it's not that expensive, but it does a great job of processing everything. So for example, this is when we went to Korea, and if you like, whether it's, and what you can do, that's a fun, Sua would not like me showing that picture, but you can really get a sense of, and I think I was using mostly, no, this is mostly using DSLRs, but I want to show you what a shot would look like pre and post.
How about those two?
Yeah, but I'm going to show you, like there are a lot of these shots you just couldn't get without, even an iPhone couldn't get it. And the main reason is because you couldn't get the length of those shots, or, I was talking
Wide
about the golden hour. Yeah, getting certain angles, just a feel of things, processing it, getting a sense of, oh man, I really wish I had these couple of shots, but I cannot find it. But you can process a lot of these shots faster through Lightroom than you could through other ways. And the way you do it, so sorry, I wish I need to find this one shot so that, because it's the best shot that I could show you. All right. Like, this is when we went camping, Kevin. And let's say the shot of Nick, right? Basically, just like everywhere else, there's all these different, like from exposure, controlling the exposure. What's great is that when you take a picture right out of the box, sometimes you miss the exposure. And so you really want to adjust it. And a lot of these things, obviously you can do. Temperature control is really, really great, because sometimes you just want to adjust to exactly the details. But what you also can do is buy these things called, they're filters basically. And they're not that expensive. Like as it goes, you can buy, say, like $50 worth of filters, and you'll get 2,000 of them. And the ones that I bought were called Sleek Lens. They're actually, and basically I can change, the photo completely based on, well, it just has different feels to it, It's basically what you would get, say, in Instagram, but I have a gazillion of them. And if I really want a certain feel, look at this one, Hawaii. And rather than going individually into each one of these things, I might just say, I just want to do one. I'm just going to do one. And so generally, I use filters all the time. And so the workflow is basically, you can import all your pictures into Lightroom. And then you can apply one, if you said, I just want one filter all across, you apply one filter and it'll literally do all the pictures all at once. And then from there, you can make adjustments. A lot of wedding photographers do that. And basically, if you're taking a mass shot, like if you're really going in and shooting a particular event, you can take those shots. So let's say I like this one. That's where, and let's say I wanted to say, hey, come to the men's camping trip. You get to meet Nick, right? And so I will take this, bring it down in. But let's say I'm like, oh, I really don't like those red cups right there, right? I might, in Photoshop then, actually delete the red cups. And then I might take that in Photoshop, do something, or I might go into Canva and do something, you know? So we were playing games, you know, or here's a picture of evil Rob. So a lot of this is, you know, you can really get a sense of all the different things that you do. So Lightroom, if you're doing photography at all, Lightroom is worth it. It's the one, even more than Photoshop, it's Lightroom. And with that, you can just do so many things with Lightroom that makes it work.
Do you have a picture of Steven?
Of Steven?
Yeah.
Sure I do. I'd have to look for it.
Yeah.
When was this camping? When was this camping thing?
It was last year?
When was that?
When was that? That last year?
Oh,
Yeah.
Amy, you're so cute.
Last year, May.
Ah,
I don't remember
Yeah.
Sung going.
Yeah,
Amy's
some-
like, where's my boo?
where's my bow?
Where is Steven? Oh, here. Well, okay. So
I don't remember this at all.
I don't know where Steven is. Oh, he left.
It was a
early.
men's.
Did he
Oh,
leave early?
you left. Did you leave early? Yeah, he said yeah.
Okay.
There's John, right? There's John.
Yeah,
there's-
I think he left early.
He only stayed for the day.
Yes. So this picture, I did process it a little bit, but it was actually pretty good overall. Now notice when I took the picture, this was around, I don't know, Kevin, probably was close to noon, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah,
Maybe like 10 or 11.
right.
So-
This is probably after morning. Okay, that's the morning hike.
Yeah, maybe around 10 or 11.
Yeah.
So the good thing is the light, remember I said, don't try not to take a picture at noon where the sun is right coming down and you have like shadows everywhere. We still have shadows. Whenever you wear a hat, there's nothing you can do about the shadows. But generally, you know, I had the sun pointing towards us and you take that shot, you set it up, shoot it, and then you go and process it. And you might be like, oh, I want it to punch a little bit. I want a little bit. Oh, this looks like, yeah, that looks like this looks like from the 1910s or something.
Wow.
All right, here's a picture that I did not process. Oh,
And when you say process, you mean edit?
yeah. So let's say this is Jack and Sua.
Okay.
That's Jack. Okay,
I
whoops.
don't see it. I don't see it.
Oh, you don't see it?
No, I only see the picture of you guys, the men.
Really?
Do you guys see Jack and Sua?
No, just the man.
Oh, that's weird. Hold on. Let me see. You don't see this picture?
No. It's blank now.
It's
Okay.
thinking.
Now
Oh,
I see it. Oh,
Oh, that's Jack.
Sua
So
looks the same.
I know.
I might be
Oh,
like,
look at Jack.
so this is where you're gonna start looking, and there are some within this. There's like certain ones that I tend to like, but a lot of it is, as always, beauty is in the art of the beholder. So you're gonna just basically take certain things and say, oh, well, do I want it like this? Do I want it like this? And you know, obviously, you're gonna take into account what the picture shot is, and so. Again, I would say utilizing Lightroom is going to be incredibly helpful.
I like the black and white of Jack and Sua.
Okay, so that is Lightroom. Any questions there?
So basically, you just have to find the combo, that filter is called, things that the lighting, all that stuff. You just have to play around with it and see
Yes.
which one
Yes.
is the best.
Yes.
It's a lot of time commitment.
Yeah. So when I go to an event,
Yeah.
let's say I go to, let's say Susie, you traveled somewhere. You traveled to Japan, right? And you took a bunch of pictures. usually what's going to happen is that you're going to look through all the pictures pretty quickly and say, bad, 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 great, I like that one. And you start marking them off. And you see this right here? What I do is I actually can star, like let's say this one of Jack, right? I say, oh, I really like that picture. So I'm going to, do you see this one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to
Yes.
star it.
Look at his hair.
Look how
I'll
cute
star
he
it, and then I'll check it and say, oh, okay, I like that. And so then when I search, when I go through all these pictures, I can do a search. See, search as to 5 stars. I want all the 5-star pictures. Or I can do 4 stars. You can actually search, filter your searches. And then on there, then I decide I'm going to work on those. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that'll streamline your workflow a lot better. So this bottom part here really gives you some access to how to actually choose which pictures you want. It narrows it down. Then if you just go through it, you might be, and most of the pictures that you like will be pretty similar. And then there might be like 2 or 3 that you say, I want to print these. I want to actually get them printed. I'm gonna give them to somebody, or I'm gonna do something with it. So that's when you really can narrow it down even more. Okay. Anybody have any other questions? Okay. Let me just go to this last one that I use mostly for the church, and I don't use it as much, but I used to use this a ton, and it's InDesign. InDesign is
How come you don't use it as much?
because I don't really do print as much or make magazines or,
Okay.
you know, so now I do it for things like, okay, I'll give you an example. I'll give you guys an example. Oh.
Oh, Elizabeth?
Okay. Okay, never mind.
Okay.
So I don't know if I should do that one. That's a little weird. But it's like the only thing that's there.
Just show it. We already know you're weird, Sam.
Okay. So Justin Chang, he had told me about, like, so for people who are going into college, they have these things called athlete profile forms. They look like this. Am I still screen sharing? Okay. Here we go.
No.
Now, this is like a great way of getting an idea of, oh, okay, what can you do with this? So basically, if you are an athlete and you're applying to college, it's a different road than, say, for regular students. Justin told me about this. So basically, they have these things called athlete profile forms where they create like a little profile of a different person, you know, and there are statistics, there are information, some academic things. It tends to look like this, right? So
We can't see it because it's not big enough.
you can't see it at all?
No.
What's that?
It's
like
very small.
It's a thumbnail.
Really? It doesn't look.
Yeah.
Why? It's not a thumbnail on our page.
We can't see it.
Huh? Why is it showing like that? It should be fully. You don't see it at all?
No.
Oh no, it's because you're showing that.
Oh, how about now? Tell me, do you see this?
Yes.
Okay. Do you see this?
Yes.
So these are like these athlete profile forms that basically athletes do, and they submit them to colleges, right? And
Are these actual examples or are these actual people?
these are actual examples. And so I'm like, oh, graphically, they do not look that good, right? So we actually had to create one for, the only reason I'm doing this is because it's actually here, but I had to create one for Elizabeth. So please, oh man. Okay, so she's gonna kill me. So I actually created one for Elizabeth. And
We can't see it though.
Oh, you're not showing.
oh, okay. Here we go. Stop share, and then I see it's because it's a different screen. So I actually had to create one for Elizabeth. And
Oh,
I did it in a way in which it's a little different than, not a little different, but basically this is what someone would see. And what you have to do is think about, okay, all right, I'm going to go take that out, right? Like that's what graphic design and the differences of design can do, is that it can actually make something that everyone else does it like this. And all it takes is just a little bit of work and a little bit of knowledge, and you can actually create something radically different that is going to stand out to a lot of different people. You know what I mean? And so
So what program did you use, Pastor Sam,
so what I
for
use
that?
is something called InDesign.
Okay.
And I'll show you how it's done. It's actually pretty easy, and it's similar to, let me just do one more, show you one more thing. I think I have the church bulletin, the new church bulletin, but let me just see if I have that.
The current athlete bio data is on your screen. That's not good. There are too many words on there.
Yes. Oh, now you see?
I don't like
Yes.
that.
Yes.
It's too what's the word? I don't know. It just
It's
if
hard
I saw that, I would pass it.
it's hard
Too
to
busy,
focus
right?
on.
Too
But
busy.
Too busy, yeah.
Yeah.
you know, Sam, you could do all of this on Canva.
You can. You can.
And we make brand decks, like beautiful professional brand decks on them.
You could do it all on Canva. It's true.
So that's why I feel like InDesign, you don't really need it, because Canva, and then Canva gives you the dimensions. You can download it as a PDF. You can print it professionally. You can do everything. You can make it into a book. You can do anything.
Yeah. You know what I would say? Canva is good. Trust me, I'm with you on that. And I think you can do it. I don't think you could do everything. I think you could do most things, but there are some things in terms of precision that you might not be able to do. Hold on. I found the new church bulletin, okay, that I've been working on. And so when we move into the new building, I wanted to create a new bulletin. And so we're still working on it, but it's basically something like this. It's pretty straightforward, pretty simple, and you could do this on Canva as well, but it'll have like, the good thing about this is that, and I don't know, can you do this on Canva exactly?
I can't see. We can't see.
Oh, sorry. I'm using different screens. That's why it just keeps on.
You know, I have a Indian friend, and she had to. It's called bio data. It's basically same thing for dating. This person put like their profile on like 8x10, has all their like what they do, what family they're from, how
Interesting.
old they're, and even like salaries on there.
Oh my!
Oh my gosh,
that's weird.
It's called Indian bio data. It's like the weirdest thing ever.
I mean, isn't that for like arranged wedding?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I can see that.
Koreans used to do that. I don't know if they still do, but they used to do it.
Yeah, so I think that's the world.
Or marrying like a high-profile people.
So basically, what this is it's going to be half-page sheets. So basically, this is the same thing, right? So it's columns, and this is on one side.
Definitely do this on Canva.
And this is on the other side. Are you able to control every single little detail?
Every little detail.
Interesting.
But you got to get the pro version.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. I mean, we even do our catalogs on them.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. Well, if we already have this. So, I mean, basically, okay, I'm just going to go briefly, and this is the same as Canva as it is in Adobe. But if you look at this, it's basically what I did was, I don't know if you all see, but there's like it's framed. And it's framed. Okay, I'm going to just change this. Hold on. I need to save a copy because I don't want to mess this up. Okay, now I can mess it up. All right, so do you see how, like, ignore this second part because it's literally a duplicate of the same. And the reason is because I'm basically putting it onto columns rather than, and it'll be a half sheet and it'll be flipped around back and forth. And this bottom part, it will have a perforation right here. So that actually you can tear it off and throw it into the back box thing. But basically the way this works is that there's a something like this, and I grouped it, and when I ungroup it, it actually now is its own individual thing. You know, everything is separate. But if I wanted to group it all together, well, actually, I can't believe Canva really has that. That's awesome. You're really able to do this? How much is the professional version?
It's $12 a month.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Mhm.
So you use Canva.
You can, so what you do is you just tell what dimension you want, then you start putting text, and then you could put your logo, and then you can add these boxes. They have text boxes, and then you could put your fonts, and then you can, yeah.
Okay. I'll look into that because,
Mhm.
but I'm used to using
show
Adobe
you.
too. It goes either
I mean,
way.
I mean, you know, either way, it's neither here nor there. It's just whatever you're used to, but I'm just saying Canva does it too.
Okay.
And then you could save it as a PDF.
Right. You could do that as well. So here's what I would say is generally, whether you're using whatever design software you're using regarding, this is called desktop publishing. And basically it's any type of booklet, catalog, pamphlet, flyer, newsletter, business card, postcard, sign. If you're doing anything like that, you basically can create. So let's say I do new, and I'm just going to create something. I'll do it this way. And let's say I'm just going to create a quick brochure. And so I'm also going to use layers. And let's say it's join our design, right? And let's say I wanted to have I'm going to put a box around as a frame. This is just randomly, right? And with that, I can control the stroke weight. The stroke weight, let's say, is going to be, I want to make it thick, let's say. I make it 4. And then from there, I'm going to, create text. Design with us. I'm going to make it really ugly, okay? Because I just don't have time. All right. So then I'm going to go center it, and I'm going to take my font, try to pick a decent one. I'm going to make it big. And remember what I said, where now Canva does this, everyone does this, where they have that red line in the middle that shows direct center. And then they actually have I think they have a cross line right here. All right. What would you do, Carissa, with this ugly design with us? What are some thoughts?
Change the font.
Besides that,
Um,
let's try this.
Add a frame.
Yeah, let's just put another frame on here. Anything else?
change color.
Change color.
Make it smaller a little bit. It's kind of big.
Okay, so remember, Kevin, you it wasn't Kevin, it wasn't Uncle Kevin, but remember, Kevin has bad eyes. So, is that true, Kevin?
He's not hearing you.
Yeah, he's ignoring me.
No, I could hear you.
And basically, you're playing around with it and trying to figure out what is the best. So Carissa said she would like it to be smaller. And let's say we're going to make the text color white. So here's the thing. Colors are all in, there's about, there are 3 or 4 different ways to actually denote color. Grace, you know, what are they?
That denote color?
Yeah, the different codes.
Oh, you mean the RGB?
Yeah, so RGB is one,
The CMYK?
CMYK. I don't know what lab is. Do you know what lab is? Anyone? Kevin, do you know?
I don't know what that means.
And then the last one is this one, hex.
That's for web.
But you can find it, and RGB stands for red, green, blue, cyan, magenta, yellow, black. And then another thing is,
Isn't
so-
CMYK considered process color and lab, and RGB is Pantone?
I don't know which one is Pantone. Would you know, Krista?
Pantone.
I think Pantone is different code, right? It's different than
Yes.
Yeah, I think Pantone usually you can like find swatches of Pantone, but I don't know if you what the
it's
code is.
Pantone is for printing, right? Printing and manufacturing.
Yes, definitely.
So
Yeah.
Where
we
the
use,
RGB is usually, you know, like computer based.
That's probably, yeah.
so
yeah.
we use when I print for production, I use
CMYK.
Pantone, but they want me to do it in RGB and CMY and not in CMYK. I don't know why.
Interesting. Okay. So do you see this hashtag? Basically, what I always do is if I want to color really fast, just know that all the Fs, 6 Fs are white and 6 zeros are black. It just makes it a lot faster sometimes. So I'll go like, you know, and one thing that you will want to do is also another thing to remember is that how you arrange which is on top matters a lot. So this black box is on top and the words are on the bottom. And so I actually right click and I have to send this to the back, which then allows the words to come up to the front. Pretty basic. One thing that you want to do is if you have a Mac or something else, there's something called a web color picker. Do all of you know what that is? What do you use?
I use this.
If you just Google RGB color picker, Google actually has a tool now. It just comes up on Google on website.
Yeah, so Carissa uses an eyedropper because I actually I'm not using Chrome because it just takes so much these days. So I've been using Vivaldi.
You've been using what?
It's a website. I mean, it's not a website. You know how like a Google calculator, when you type in number, it actually does the calculation?
Yes.
It comes up like that on top of the page. It's called RGB color picker. When you search it, it actually shows up.
Oh no, this is not what I mean. It's
You're talking about the eyedropper and where you
Yes.
pick the color? Oh, okay. Yeah.
yes.
This one, you manually have to slide
Yes.
and find a color.
Yeah.
What is yours called?
So I have a Chrome extension. If you just look up like color picker Chrome extension, basically what it does is it adds it to your Chrome and you can pick from any web page any color. So like if you see a color on a web page, if you like, I like this color, then you can just use that eyedropper and store that color. And it keeps it in storage for you for a really long time.
Wait, but it keeps it in storage in where? Like I can go on Adobe? What? I don't understand.
No, so
This one?
yeah, it's on.
Okay, so are you all watching me right now?
You're not sharing yours.
Okay.
You're not sharing.
Sorry. Okay. So it's color pick eyedropper.
Yeah, I just added that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's just on the side. So like where your typically where your add-ons
So
are.
here, and then basically you cannot run on this page. Okay. So
Why?
this is-
Why?
It can't run on local pages and it can't run in incognito mode. That's what I've noticed.
So
Wait,
here,
it's not that one. It looks like this.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Eyedropper.
oh, there,
But,
it's this though.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
It's the same thing. So you can really pick up the, see that? And it gives you the RGB and also the hex code. So everyone, if you remember the hex code remember I said it was 0000, 6 zeros is black and 6 Fs is white. Well, this red, the YouTube red is FF0100. So if you go to Photoshop or to Canva or to, like let's say I wanted FF, this color, right? FF0, I'm gonna go to Canva and then I'll go to here and I wanna change this to that red. I can go here to new color and then put in the hex code here and it gets the same exact red.
But what if you want it from the, like on your extension where you saw some color and you want that red?
You
From
mean,
the Chrome extension.
That's what Pastor Sam did, right?
yeah.
You pick.
Oh, he put the hex code on.
Well, you mean, are you looking for RGB, you mean?
No, it's not an eyedropper where you literally take an eyedrop and you put it on the screen.
Yeah, no, it is. So let's say here, right? See this is my eyedropper, right?
You point,
So let's say I wanted this color, right? This one right here. So I'll click that and it gives me the hex code and it gives me the RGB.
Oh, so you have to put that in there.
Yeah, so I copy that and let's say I bring it back to Canva. And I want that color that's on our website. Oh, that's the last thing I'm gonna talk about is the website. Sorry. New color, hex code is here. And now I have it, see? Same color as our website. Okay?
I think we can just go to the website because I think we typed this.
No, we're not talking about that. Okay. The last thing we want to go over is our church's website because Carissa really helped me with that and helped us with that. And I feel like,
I did see a design flaw on your logo.
what is it?
Okay, so you know when you actually, you know the actual little banner for the little banner of the logo, the little blue banner where, and then there's like it's like a V that goes up and down. The
Mhm.
banner, this part. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not showing my
This part right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
It like when it's up on my YouTube, like you know, on the when I like at church online and then I'm looking at it on the TV screen or anywhere.
It has a little white on it.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
all white and
Yeah.
I constantly, that distracts me.
Yes. I think
Totally.
for some reason the PS is not as clean.
Maybe.
Yeah,
not
we'll fix that.
transparent. It's not a
It's just the
transparent.
size of
Yeah.
it.
I
Yeah,
think
we'll
it's
fix
just on
that.
the left side. I think.
Yes.
On
Yes.
that whole thing,
Yes,
and
yes.
it's all
It's
white.
not
Like,
super clean.
Like the whole
That
thing.
logo that she's using, it's not. We'll fix that.
okay.
But
I
here,
didn't know.
so here's the thing: is that before this, we were using a like. The reason I'm giving you to this is that I think for those of you who are perhaps not, you know, maybe you're not technological but you really want your own website or for a business or even just personal, whatever. Chris has been using Wix and it actually has turned out pretty awesome because of all the different things that they do. So we want to show you this pretty quickly because you can actually create a pretty awesome website using Wix. Now you do have to pay for it. They have a free one, but you can utilize the,
Is that what you know? Is that what you guys were using over on Wellspring?
yep, this is it.
But we do a paid version.
Yeah, but we use a paid version. So here it is. Chris, you want to go
Shopify's
through
back end,
just very
yeah.
briefly. So here's the main dashboard page. Sorry, my computer's, I think because I'm trying to do so many things on it.
We put in design.
Oh, yeah. Gotta close in design. Save. Sorry, I see.
It literally looks like the same back end page as my Shopify.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. Like there's like marketing and SEO stuff, analytics, But the only thing that I think we really work on is just like the site itself. I mean, I guess you could look at analytics to see like how many people have visited your website, which can be helpful. But for like the actual like design portion of it, basically Wix is like, instead of coding something from scratch, which is, you know, you'd have to learn like the languages and stuff for that. You can either follow a template through the website builder, but it's basically like a drag and drop system. So the icons on the left-hand side are basically like, so like these, for example, like the plus is just like an adding. And so the way it works is kind of like through blocks.
It's actually very similar to Canva in a way.
Yeah, so like either you upload an image or these, something that I use a lot are like,
But these are templates, right? They're not like, you can't customize it, right?
no, you can customize them. So like all the things that I've like put here are customized according to like what we needed. Or for example, if I
But like
wanted-
you could add, but the actual like frame you can't change. It's whatever the template is, right?
You can change anything.
Everything's
There's-
pretty flexible, and
There's
to be
nothing
honest,
you can't
like
change.
there's so many templates that they are very like
And they're really well designed.
very usable. And obviously, like you can change the photos, you can change the fonts, you can change the size of things too, like manually. Like you can
would have to
stretch it.
publish so
Yeah.
you can change it.
And then there's different things like you can integrate social networking or social tools, contact forms, which are like, oh, like subscribe to our email list or something, or our
They
newsletter.
have payments,
They have payments.
MailChimp,
Yeah. So you can,
registration, a lot of integration. So they can integrate to a lot of different factors. It's actually pretty easy to use.
Does it have a shopping cart system?
I think it does. Yeah.
It does have a shopping cart system.
So I've used a lot of different website builders just because I have like my on-campus job. I basically I created and maintain a website for the Brazilian Studies department. And so because of that, I had to like look into a lot of different website builders. And I think WordPress is pretty popular, but honestly, it's pretty hard to use.
It is.
So Wix, I would say, is probably the most intuitive.
My
Yeah.
company uses Wix
Really?
Really?
and
Yeah.
Figma for their website. Yeah.
Oh.
So
Yes.
you're on the right track.
Yeah, so Wix is like, it's especially good if you don't have the technical like background to create a website from scratch. And it's not like there are a lot of features, but it's not overwhelming. Because everything's pretty intuitive. So you can like learn on your own very easily.
When you think about the fact that pretty much most of our Wix is not a church website builder, and yet we're able to do all the different things, including like sermons. Although with our sermons, we had to outsource that. We're using Podbean, and we're actually importing that in. This is using a podcaster. So there is, but that's the great thing, is that there's a lot of flexibility. There's events, email marketing. You can create your own blogs and as a part of it. It has pretty much everything you would want. So if you are, like Paige, you could create your own website, and it allows you to do different things. So.
I didn't know Wix can do all that. We use Shopify, but I don't know.
Yeah, Wix is pretty flexible, and I think they used to be like, if people used Wix in the past, people would be like, oh, that's like a really ugly website.
Yeah.
But I think they're super flexible. So honestly, it just depends on like how you want it to
It's the
design.
designer then.
Yeah.
Then it's
Yeah.
all about your own eye and the design itself.
Well, I mean, it looks just like Shopify. It has all the features, like, the templates, the apps, everything.
Yeah, I think like Shopify, it's probably like specifically for
Business.
for businesses, like product
It is.
marketing businesses, right? But like Wix could be used for like personal blogs, churches, nonprofits, like
Yeah.
anything like that, like a very large variety.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
And would you recommend this over Square? Because a lot of people use Square too.
Squarespace?
Yes.
I use Squarespace, and for some reason, it's really hard to change things. Even if you have the paid version, it's like super cumbersome to use the different elements and like change the different elements. So I would probably like Squarespace does have a lot of nice templates, but honestly, you could do like Wix and just like if you really liked a Squarespace template, you could just copy it into Wix.
Oh, you can?
Or like just copy the design, you know what I mean?
So everyone, I would say this is that basically, if you take the design principles that we've talked about from day one, from composition, your eye, understanding shapes and all the fonts and different things like that, you'll be able to create great things. These are all separate tools, and it's about the integration of all the tools. And if you just think to yourself, I can do that. I can make that myself. I don't need to pay all this money. And like Grace said, actually, a lot of it can be done on Canva. A lot of the free stuff is out there. So you at the very least, start on the free stuff. Even Wix is free to a certain point. You don't even have to pay for that. That's only like to unlock certain things. But if you're going to just start out, you can, like Paige, for example, if you're going to make your own website, you can make your own website. You can use Canva. You can start using photo editing software all online and just start utilizing the design principles. And once you do that, you can basically do a lot. And as you get better and as you start utilizing more things, like Mrs. Grace, for Grace, she uses it for business. So that actually has another level of significance and value to it. So, but all of you are able to do this. And so what I'm looking for is eventually that you all take over my job and you all do all the design for the church. Right, Paige? That's what I'm hoping. You and Elise and Ellen
raise
take
up the
over.
next generation.
Yeah, exactly. Why do you think I'm doing this? Is to get myself out of doing this.
I know this
Very
seems
self-sufficient.
pretty time intensive.
It can be done. You think it's already you've utilized it.
Yes.
And if you just keep on doing it,
it's fun.
It gets better. You'll get better. And it does get fun after a while.
Okay, can I guys show you guys my picture of Mochi?
Yes.
Okay, hold on.
Wow.
Oh, sorry, hold on.
Whoa.
What is happening?
Okay, hold on. Wait, hold on. Where's I can't see myself. I don't know where.
We could see you. We could see you. Yeah, just put it closer.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Look, she drew a mochi.
My first time using Procreate, but I can't get her bandana to look right. I put the bandana on a different layer.
Oh, that's good. Make the bandana disappear.
But then I don't know how to make her body.
Oh, I see. Oh, well, that's good.
Nice.
Nice. So you know what Grace is doing? You all should, that's what it is you just try it and you just keep on trying it. And you get better and better at it as it goes along. And then pretty soon you start soaring. But if you never actually put it into practice by trying, even no matter how it looks, which actually that's good.
Really cute.
Carissa, did you just like play around with it and then you learned, or did you actually take a class? Because I don't know. I don't know.
One more.
I don't have that many on.
Your last one.
You just play around with it. And
That's what you did.
it does take a lot. And the nice thing is you don't have to you can do a layer of Irish. Yeah. But you can create a layer and just sketch it out, what?
Yeah. So, okay. Does anybody have any last questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, Eileen.
So if I understand correctly, the Lightroom is you could just adjust basically the lighting filters or whatever, but brightness basically.
Not just brightness. No, it has
You can
a
edit
lot.
it.
You could basically change the color temperature, the contrast, the exposure, the different brightness, the sharpness. So there's a lot of flexibility. It controls the whole picture.
But can you delete or like the Photoshop?
No, you cannot do that. It's just about adjusting the actual photo, but it doesn't change. You can't take things out of it, the photo.
But Photoshop, you could kind of like delete stuff or whatever, right?
Yes, but you could do that in, actually, I don't know if you saw, but you could do that in other things too.
Okay. And then the iPhone kind of has that feature too, a little bit.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
So you guys, can I just share my screen about Lightroom, why I like it?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second. I think, okay, go ahead.
So do you guys see this?
Yes.
So you literally could take each picture and then like edit it right here. You know?
Yes.
And you could, you could see, and it's so fast. Like you could go through this, and then you could take this, and then you literally could sit here. This is a photo I just picked, and you literally could edit this right here.
Yep.
Right here.
Yes.
I'm not gonna edit it right now, but you guys, do you understand? So that's why it's like the way it's organized. That's why I like it so much, because it's so easy. It's like and Photoshop doesn't have this feature where you could just scroll and go through things really quick.
Because it's not the purpose of Photoshop. Photoshop is to deal with things like, oh, I have this thing in the background. I really want to get rid of it. And it's very, like a hand is there or something. Yes.
And by the way, Sam took all this picture.
No, I didn't take all those. But so I think you'll come to appreciate all the different things for what it is. And it'll really, if you get into that, if you enjoy that, you could soar. I've seen, like Angie Choa, when I first met her, I went to her house. She had some print pictures of Caleb Ochoa on the wall, right? And I said, oh, you have a really good eye. Like the way she was taking the picture, and she had never taken a picture with a digital camera before. She didn't know how to use a digital camera. And she actually took all those with a point and shoot film camera. Didn't know anything about photography, just was doing it just because. And I just said, Angie, if you actually take some time and learn photography, you can actually be pretty good just because you naturally have an instinct to see things in a certain way. And so we spent about 5 hours talking about doing the whole photography thing. And then after that, she just took off on her own.
Wow.
So it's all about your eye. What did you say, Kevin? Like your eye is so significant to photography, the way you see things. The equipment, that'll come. Right, Stephen? You know this to be true too. Equipment. Look, see what he said.
Yeah, I mean, you can spend all your money on equipment, but you cannot replace that with eye, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you need some foundation.
Yes.
Who's Steven? I don't know Steven.
Right here.
Oh, Steven.
Are you trying to start something, Grace? You're like, who is that
That
man?
is so funny. Oh, what a
Scandalous.
But can he hear us?
No, I have my headset on. He's watching a movie.
Okay, good for you. Oh, well, I think that's it. Unless anybody has any other questions.
That's it.
Feel
Thank you.
free to-
Thank you, Sam.
Feel free to
Thank you
ask
so
me
much.
Thank you,
anytime
Pastor
whatsoever.
Sam.
I'm gonna draw now.
Thank you.
I know.
All right.
Thank you.
Keep
Bye.
on trying.
Thank
Keep on
you.
designing.
Bye, guys.
Okay,
Thank
bye.
you.
Thanks. Bye.